Libra. This is your July 2022 soul story. This is Romy. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have a sun rising or moon is in the sign, this is a reading for you. We're going to give you some important astrological dates this month and some intuitive messages that I hope are going to guide you through the next few weeks. So we are into Cancer season, and Libra, we're opening up with the energy of the Emperor. I think this month you're going to be asking yourself, can I do this? And the Emperor is giving you a resounding yes. You hold the power, you hold the key here. You wouldn't even be considering it. It wouldn't even be an option unless you were going to be able to reach for the vibration that was going to move you into alignment to make this be possible. So you have to stay unshaken this month. Now we're going to be opening up the energy of July with a 10 square between Mars and Pluto. It's going to cause some volatility and conflict. You may even have some power and control issues going on with that Emperor showing up so early on in the reading. And yet, as we leave July, we're going to have this beautiful trine between the Sun and Jupiter. And so through the month, with the support and help of a very healing Capricorn full moon, we are going to be able to integrate and find a sense of wholeness and balance. Now, this month for you, Libra, it's complex. And it's also deeply transformational. In fact, the whole theme for July across the soul stories this month is about going deeper. It's about recognizing the way that each and every one of us are being tested, and that there are lessons to be learned. What's important, Ten of Swords, is that we don't allow ourselves to move into victim mentality. Why is this happening to me? But also that we recognize where others are projecting that kind of energy onto us, and that it's almost clouding, if you like, our channel. It's clouding our ability to be able to, with grace and humility and acknowledgement, see the growth, witness the changes. And this is a time when you need to allow yourself to process more deeply, and also to inner parent, because Cancer season is very much about tending to those emotional roots within us. Now, it's a 10th house energy for you, which means that you're also very concerned with the legacy that you're leaving in the world, with what's going on for you professionally. And with the Emperor there, it suggests that there may be some authoritarian, whether it be a superior or a boss or the overall company or an institution that you're having to deal with. And Ten of Swords suggests that there might be some kind of sense of an ending, or certainly some drama that's kind of surrounding it. So let's talk about the full moon in Capricorn. It's coming in on the 13th of the month. It's a supermoon. It is the closest to the Earth this year. And it comes in with a trine to Uranus, deeply transformational energy that hits us in our relationships, both professionally and personally. It also has a sextile to Neptune and to the goddess asteroid Juno, who rules over partnerships, marriages, the way that we relate to others. But interestingly, it also is going to square with Chiron. Now, the wounded healer planet is going to be shifting retrograde this month on the 19th. So with that square to Chiron, it means that we have to have those very direct, very vulnerable conversations. That's also where you start to see the victim mentality coming through with that 10 of Swords, because it can really trigger people. It may be you that's triggered, or the conversations that have to take place that are deeply necessary in those exchanges. And yet the outcome here, as directed earlier, is one of healing. It's one of progress. It's one of being able to move forward. And there's some outside support coming in spiritually, if you like. In fact, I have a sense that how you are going to be able to best navigate through any really painful situations is with humility. There is a realization that's coming this month, because remember, it's all about, what am I being tested on here? What is the spiritual test for me? And it's a turning point. And so we come from something where we feel it's over, it's done. We cannot tolerate, we can no longer withstand that kind of an energy. And in the release and the surrender around that full moon, there we have something that comes in that's much lighter, that helps to support an evolved vibrational energy for you. So we are also going to welcome Mercury shifting into Cancer on the 4th of the month and Venus in Cancer on the 17th. So let's talk about the traits that Cancer will bring through. It's a fellow cardinal energy, which is supportive for you, Libra. And it really does want us to feel into our emotions. King of Swords, interesting. So is there a disconnect going on with how you feel and what you're saying? Because the King of Swords is bringing forth this needle, saying that we have to sew these things together. We have to blend the different parts of ourselves. And maybe it's where you've been playing different roles, where there are necessary times where you have to kind of almost disconnect, unplug from certain things. But if it starts to impact your ability to be able to be guided by your heart space, then we have issue. So as we talked about this idea of the fact that you are going to be asking yourself, can I do this? And we're saying, yes, you hold the power. You also have to bring the focus in. You also have to know the direction that you want to move with regards to something, which means that you have to extricate yourself from the drama, or you have to pick yourself up from anything that feels like it has been placed in your path by way of a block, because this is a month of lessons, but also blessings. Yeah, remember Saturn is retrograde, so the disciplinarian is already teaching us to have to go back over to resolve our karma right now. Now, Vesta, asteroid goddess, that is representative of what is most sacred to us. She's shifting retrograde in Pisces. So there's going to be a big emphasis around boundaries with Vesta, and that's going to be from the 7th of the month. So the boundaries that you have with those important people in your life, but also with yourself. Are you staying true to the promises that you're making? Now, as I said, it's going to be complex this month, so it's not always straightforward, is it? There's a lot of grey going on through the month of July as you try to move your way through this kind of swell of emotions. But trying to find your flow is going to be really important, because what we're addressing here in this going deeper is the ability to be able to be more true to yourself. And so there's a kind of restorative, replenishing, rejuvenating energy that I think wants to be embraced for Libra this month of July, that I think can be really transformative, especially professionally as we work at that 10th house. Excuse me, or how you want to show up in the world, the way in which you want to connect. And of course, as we move into Leo season, 11th house, it's all about your friendships, the community, groups that you're a part of. And so this desire to want to stay unshaken, to give yourself permission to say, yes, I can do this, gives yourself the opportunity to kind of meet you in the moment, meet the treasure of the experiences that you're having, and see the way that they are kind of giving you the perfect backdrop to actually express everything that you need to heal everything that you need to. Now, the King of Pentacles comes in here, and I love that she's surrounded by all of these yellow flowers. Even her fan is yellow, so strong solar plexus energy here. I know this belief, this self-confidence starting to rise up within you. Yeah, because you have been able to master something. We've got a lot of mastery going on here with the kings and the emperor. Again, this is the inner parenting. Perhaps it's that father figure energy that you really need to work on within the self, balancing something out. But we also have a sense of course, in Capricorn and Cancer energy, our sense of security and safety, how we take care of both our emotional needs and also our physical needs. And so there's going to be a strong emphasis for you on how do I better take care of myself this month. And I think that there's going to be generosity and an altruistic energy that sort of moves through your path this month, but you have to look out for it. You have to be open to it, because sometimes when we move into that martyr energy and it's like, it's fine, I'll do it myself, I don't need your help. And oftentimes it's that wounded child, remember Chiron retrograde, that's going to be calling us out, where we kind of look a gift horse in the mouth. You know, we know that we need the support, we know that we need the help, and yet we're rejecting it because we feel wounded, we feel overly vulnerable. So again, this is a time as you go deeper to kind of really stop and to pause in the moment and say, okay, what do I need to understand about myself and my emotional reaction right now? Because there's a true turning point that wants to be acknowledged. Now, as we come into the second half of the month and we welcome the sun in Leo on the 22nd, we're also going to welcome Ceres, asteroid goddess, into Leo. And just a little reminder, I do the goddess reports, and they will give you your personal natal chart and discover 12 of the goddess energies and how they can influence you. So you can find the details for that in the description box underneath. But this Leonite energy is going to bring in a deeper sense of self-assuredness, of attentiveness to kind of the creative pursuits, to things that you want to start to express about how you feel, where you're going, what's the vision that you have for yourself. Now the Knight of Swords is coming winging in on this white feather here. Her paintbrush is cutting through the density of the cloud. Her dress is covered in words. There's important messages and news that you're ready to share. Perhaps you've been holding back, or the timing hasn't been quite right to have that important conversation with somebody. This is the month where it feels like it can happen, because that full moon in Capricorn is incredibly helpful in its capacity for healing. There's an honesty about it and a directness about it, but it's also kind of holding you. So we're able to emerge from it feeling like, okay, that was incredibly uncomfortable, but I'm really glad that I did it. I'm really glad that I said it or that I brought it up. So wherever this lands for you, whether it's, something you need to deal with at work, within a family, within a relationship, a friendship, this is the month where you get to really address it. And the more honest you can be with yourself that that's truly what's going on for you, that's where the healing lies. And it really is immaterial what the response is that you get. And I know that's hard because, of course, if you're going to be that vulnerable and sensitive and show up, then you want to know that you're going to be met with the same kind of an energy. But there's the next test, right? If you're not and it's dismissed, or it's not received, or you don't hear the words that you were hoping for, what do you do then? Do you unpick and devalue and discredit everything that you've just gone through to get to that point? Or do you praise and celebrate and acknowledge the accomplishment and recognize that somebody else's inability to be able to meet you in that moment energetically is just about what's going on with their path and their journey and has no reflection on you? So there's some really important situations to witness and observe this month if you give yourself the opportunity to do so. Now on the 25th, Juno, asteroid goddess, that's supportively working with that full moon in Capricorn on the 13th, then on the 25th goes retrograde in Pisces. How we relate to others is what Juno teaches us. So the question that comes through then is, what am I sacrificing in this connection, in this partnership? In this contract I'm about to sign, what is the part of myself that I have to give up? Where are the boundaries here? Remember, you're going to be dealing with themes of Pisces and having to go back over something. So we'll be thinking about themes of where the romance is, if it's on a love relationship, but also about the addiction, the sense of escapism, the illusions of things. But it's also going to bring in your spiritual journey, your artistry, your creative visions. But the question is, what am I sacrificing? So the Chariot comes in and says, we need to power forward. It's time to move. It's time to go. There's travel here, whether that be physical, emotionally, but it's because we have to keep going. This is really important in the face of adversity, in the face of anybody trying to delay you or slow you down, in the face of yourself self-sabotaging. The Chariot says, against the odds, we're going to keep moving and we're going to stay in control and we're going to find a way. Because remember, the Emperor says you have the power. The King of Swords says you have the focus. The Chariot says you have the will. So with all of that on your side and the star coming in with that healing energy, what's stopping you, Libra? What's stopping you? Remember, you have a completely unique divine signature, your energy imprint. It's yours. Nobody can replicate it. It doesn't matter how much they try. So whether it's that sense of feeling, am I worthy? Am I deserved? And the Two of Swords suggests, we're kind of in that indecisiveness, and sometimes we place ourselves there, don't we? I mean, it's a card that actually aligns with your sign, Two of Swords. And there's something about this state of belonging as this birdhouse kind of sits like a hat on top of her, and the two birds are deep in conversation here. It's kind of around the crescent moon. So as we approach that new moon in Leo on the 28th, feeling split, feeling torn, having a choice to make, but witness with yourself perhaps why you're trying to inadvertently slow something down, perhaps by creating more complexity than there needs to be. In fact, maybe as we say that this month is so complex and transformative, that actually the real lesson here is how can we make it simple? Why do we overcomplicate things? You know that feeling when you first meet somebody and you fall in love, and the state of ecstasy, the euphoria, the kind of butterflies, that beautiful emotional peak that you're able to access that lasts however long it lasts, a few days, a few weeks, a few months. For some lucky people it continues and goes on. But that state of being, that energy, something about that we want you to think about as you move through July. Because going deeper, learning about yourself, understanding your emotional responses and where they take you in default, but then using that state of euphoria and that bliss that honestly can come about so quickly. You can meet somebody tomorrow and therefore just fall into that so fast. It's like you have the capacity to be able to access that kind of bliss, that kind of joy at any given moment. So all of the ways that we hold ourselves back from it, and we're not saying it's something that needs to be sustained, because we have to experience the full spectrum. That's how we learn and develop and grow. We have to meet our light and our shadow. But I think you need a reminder that you've been capable of that, that you've had that you can welcome that back in, or remind yourself of the essence of it, even if you don't want to remind yourself of the person. Yeah? And let that be one of the guiding lights for you this month. So your important decision comes in, and what is it telling you about your level of commitment or devotion to the vision? Think about that one, Libra. Because as we come in toward the end of the month and we have this new moon in Leo, we're also going to have Jupiter turning retrograde in Aries on the same day. And of course, Jupiter in retrograde is going to want to kind of let the expansion happen on the internal, if you like. Yeah. And perhaps some of the choices and decisions that we made quite impulsively with that Aryan energy, where we did, we grew, but we grew really fast. And now we kind of almost have to go back over and we have to maybe put things in place and take control again. How interesting that you're opening and closing with the Emperor. This deck does like a masculine and feminine version of some of the cards. It's quite fascinating, isn't it? So, you're holding your own reading here with such a sense of power and control and commanding of your own energy. I think that's a really powerful message for you as you move through July, actually. We don't want to be too contained though, because Cancer season is about allowing ourselves to feel everything on an emotional level. And yet there's very little water showing up in your reading this month. So be mindful of where you're suppressing too much, Libra. Yeah, that might be something that you're also going to have to address. Again, that Capricorn moon is going to help you. Chiron's going to help you. And it might be that you're kind of sitting on the edge of like, I just don't want to open Pandora's box, because if I know if I go there, I'm not going to be able to stop. So you might have that sense of like trying to hold back. But you know what? If you're being guided and pushed to sort of release, to express, to acknowledge, that's the work. There's the test. You have one version of what you think the outcome is going to be, and yet here's the star coming in for you. Can I do this was the question. Two emperors showing up says, hell yeah, we can do this. So you will remain unshakable if you give yourself permission to really follow what your soul is telling you. This is about you commanding your highest timeline. And as I said, humility will guide you through any painful realizations or situations. Okay, let's have a look and see how the oracle cards just want to reflect the reading here for you. All the cards that I use, by the way, are listed in the description, the comments section. I get asked that a lot if you are interested. Eva. Okay, well, we have this dress that's kind of made out of an octopus, okay? So it's quite apt, isn't it? Sort of putting the feelers out. All of this kind of rich redness here, so much passion going on. We have the snake wrapped around her as well. So there's something about shedding a skin, deeply transformative. Her eyes are fixed. She looks completely kind of transfixed with something. Very alert, very awake. And so you're reading the room, you're reading the energy, you're aware of the complexity, but you're also kind of able to hold the space for multiple conversations, multiple kind of considerations, opportunities, whatever's surfacing for you. But you're being led from this passionate place. I think this is a really powerful energy to be supporting and working with you this month. Let's have a look and see what the astrology card wants to say for you. Okay, you have sextile, beautiful. Combination of tension and flow, potential and a rewarding situation. Well, we have Neptune sextile at the full moon in Capricorn. So let's talk about that. If we are working harmoniously with Neptune, it means that there is something richly creative that is unlocked within our imagination. And that full moon, remember, can really go deep into our subconscious and help us to realize something. It gives us the key, and often the full moon represents that which is confusion or the fears or the illusion of something, and yet here we have an ability to reach in and to kind of pull out the nugget of truth, the real gold, the treasure that we need. How do we do that? Well, it's that tenseness of the square with Chiron, isn't it? Knowing that the safety of that earth energy of Capricorn is holding us. So sextile during that full moon, very important time this month for you, Libra. Okay, just a reminder, I've popped one of my cards from the Life Soul Vision Oracle, which is the deck that I've created. It's coming out at the end of the month. For those of you who've already ordered, thank you so much. Can't wait to use it with you. And if you want to know more of the details or see the full deck, you can go check out, again, the link in the description in the comment section underneath. All right, so this is a general reading for July. Let's invite you to think about a personal question right now, Libra, that I might not have covered. We will pull a couple of cards for you in relation to that. If you're new to the channel, you will receive the insights to that question in the extended reading, which you can find the link for underneath. The extended readings are really a way for me to keep doing the monthly YouTube readings, and I really appreciate those who resonate with the main general and who join me on the extended. Okay, let's now clarify this main spread. This is going to give us more messages and insights to talk about, beginning with this Emperor. Okay, we have the Page of Swords. Beautiful. Five of Swords coming in here. And another King of Pentacles. Interesting. There's going to be, a lot of important discussions in relation to your sense of security. And what I want to say to you, Libra, is, don't fall into the illusion of, remember that Ten of Swords, of the victim, of like it's almost like thinking worst case scenario here. I think some of the solutions and the insights that are going to be emerging require a deep test of faith for you. We've got the King of Cups coming in there along with the Four of Swords. Stars coming in with a Seven of Cups. Three of Fire, beautiful. Another Two of Swords. Okay, now we have a little bit more of this emotional energy we were looking for. Magician and the Queen of Cups. Ace of Pentacles, nice. Page of Pentacles. You see there's answers here. Especially if you're struggling on the financial front or you're looking to really make some bold moves in that regard. World. Ten of Pentacles. Here's our Moon. Knight of Pentacles. Another Emperor. Wow. Do you know, it's kind of extraordinary? Like, just did the Virgo reading and they had 3 King of Swords, and here you are with 3 Emperors. It's unusual. Chariot again, okay. 8 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles. And the Queen of Swords. Okay, wonderful. If you would like to join me for the extended, we will continue this conversation. Otherwise, I'm going to wish you a beautiful month ahead, Libra. Remember, if you are asking yourself, can I do this? The answer is yes. You do.